Master. Senator Langford. Okay. See if Senator Langford is coming to the, if we don't hear from him, I know he's online and been participating. Let me ask you, while we're getting Senator Langford lined up, specific on medical isotopes. You know, medical isotopes are elements which doctors use to diagnose and treat diseases like cancer. As you know, the United States is dependent on other countries, including Russia, for most medical isotopes. We lose access to these isotopes, American lives could be lost. The long said that we need to stop relying on Russia for uranium. I asked about that earlier. I think the same can be said for medical isotopes. Will you discuss how our bill improves our nation's ability to produce medical isotopes?
Oh, thank you for that question. It's really important. It's a really important bill because, and we fully support it because it's absolutely true. These isotopes are so key to a lot of the things that we do in medicine and other things. So anything that we can do to reduce our dependence in this area, as well as in a lot of the critical materials, is urgent. And unfortunately, it was urgent before, but now people understand how urgent it needs to be as we are looking to limit the sources of some of these from other countries.
I'd like to ask you a bit about EPSCoR, because both Senator Manchin and I come from states that qualify, as the number of the other senators, members of this committee do. This has become an interesting topic of concern of people here. And, you know, Congress created this program, the established program to stimulate competitive research, to broaden the geographic distribution of federal research funding. There are about 25 EPSCoR states, 15 of which are represented on this committee.
I know.
We have a map right here, Nevada, right there. You know, New Mexico, Oklahoma. That's this committee.
A lot of great states. A lot of great states.
And with great institutions, a great opportunity.
Great institutions too. I agree.
Yeah. So less than 2% of the Office of Science's research budget goes to universities in all of these states. Less than 2% for universities in 25 states when we take a look at the money. And Senator Cortez Masto, who's here, has been part of those discussions. Is it fair to say that the Office of Science can and should do more to build research capacity at research universities in these EPSCoR states?
Well, we need to do as much as we can to build that. I need to check into, I have to trust you on the 2% number because I'm not aware of that number. But that would, if that's the case, then it would cause me concern too. Yeah. That said, I will take it back to the Office of Science and we'll talk about that more and get back to you.
Because when you talked about your history and where you are now, but where you came from.
I know. And I love those states. I've been to all of them, okay? I love those states, including Nevada. I do. So I get it.
And a follow-up, the Office of Science has 6 advisory committees, which collectively include a total of 133 members. Of those 133 members, only 9 come from universities in EPSCoR states, 9 of the 133 from those 25 states. Notably, these 6 advisory committees include just as many members from outside of the United States as members from universities in the EPSCoR states. So what is the Office of Science doing to include more members from universities in EPSCoR states on its advisory committees?
Good question. Thank you for asking that. I think in terms of having advisory board members from, having been on one of those committees and chair of it a number of years ago, I understand to some degree how they're put together. I think it's important for us to have international folks that are on it. But I agree with you. Thank you for those statistics because I was not aware of those. And so I will go back with that message because I think it is really important that we have representation from the EPSCoR states on it.
Well, and part of the role of committees, as the chairman and I continue to say, is sometimes we actually really want the answer, and other times it's to just bring the level of understanding of what's happening out there and what we see and what we hear about at home to the attention of people who are in positions of influence in the various administration. Thank you.
And these committees help to set the agenda for the particular division of the Office of Science. So it is important, and particularly, so I take your message. I take your message back, because it is important that there is that view there, and also the fact that many of your states are very diverse racially, and we want to make sure that that is represented in the committees too.
Senator Cortez Masto.